That's okay. I knew there was no audio. I totally did that on purpose. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? No sound. There's sound now. Oh, goodness sakes. And right off, we're off to a good start. We're 10 minutes late and we don't have audio. Perfect. Perfecto. All right. Well, you guys have been waiting and nagging me for, gosh, at least months, if not a year or more, about the sorry state of my configuration.yaml file, right? Wait, no hair? Oh, no. My hair's gone. Sadly, can't get a color picker for Tuya bulbs. Why is that, Steven? I have a color picker for Tuya bulbs. Why is that, I wonder? You have them listed as a light entity? Are you using the Tuya firmware still? Or did you switch over to Tasmota? Either way, I have them. Well, actually, I haven't done them in Tasmota or in Tuya. I shouldn't say that. I haven't kept them for Tasmota. Evening, Hassifier. No idea. Brand new, fresh start today. Oh, okay, cool. So if you don't know if you've changed to the firmware, then you haven't. And that may be true. That may be just the Tuya integration for Home Assistant. So yeah, that might not be that way. So I don't know how tech savvy you are or how complicated you want to make things for yourself, but if you switch them to Tasmota by using Tuya convert, then you'll get them in Home Assistant and you'll get them with the color wheel and everything else. All right. We have the one, the only, the Franck waiting in the wings here. I think he's actually streaming also on his channel at the same time. So this ought to be fun. We're going to cross the streams. All right. Let me do this thing that I have to do with my audio for a second. Franck is now hosting with 1 viewers. How's it going, Franck? All right, here we go. We're gonna connect to Franck here. I gotta get this set up so that it's doing the right thing, so he can hear me and so I can hear him. Right there. Okay, that's that. And then now, here we go. We're gonna start a call. Uh-oh. Bling bling. I wonder if it's gonna. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Oh, and he just belched.
I belched? What happened?
Was that you? How's it going?
Yeah, it's going fine. Do you see me?
I do see you. I see you on Discord. I wonder what's up with mine. Mine video's not showing up.
That's okay. I can see you on video.
Oh, I don't have screen share on. That's why. Well, are you gonna see my Visual Studio, right? Do you want to see my screen as well?
No, that's not needed.
Yeah. My poor internet is already screaming for mercy. All right. There we go. Gotcha.
Cancel. There it is.
All right, everybody. You can hear me. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can people hear me? That's the question.
Can everybody else hear? Let's see. Choo-choo. Anybody not hear Franck? Choo-choo. We got a lot of choo-choos.
Choo-choo, so that's good. How you doing, homies?
Hey. Do you like cats or dogs, mate? Do you like cats or dogs?
It's cats, actually. I
It's
never
cats?
told, but it's cats. Yeah, it's cats.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we got you. They got your audio. We are cooking.
Nice. I see you already hooked up Visual Studio Code here.
Yeah, I followed your
I
steps.
see you on my screen. Yeah, that's cool, mate. But there's a window there with the VS Live Share welcome page. Close that one and close the welcome as well.
There you go.
Those tabs.
You want to close these
tabs,
too?
like lounge. Yeah, that tab that can be closed. That one as well. So this is full. And let's see if you follow me. No, you're not following me, I guess. Yeah, that one can be closed indeed. And the last one. Close them all.
They're all closed now.
Okay.
I know.
So close this one as well.
Just close the whole thing.
Yeah, and there should be on the left side of Visual Studio Code, there's like a little like square box with an arrow that goes up on the left side in Visual Studio.
Yes.
Down, 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 lower.
There it is.
Yeah, and click that one and you will see my name.
There he is.
Yeah, and click on the right mouse button on my name and say follow.
Follow to the side.
Follow participant. Oh, you're already following me. That's the side is not like needed. Just follow, unfollow.
Follow participant. Okay, now I'm following you.
Yeah, so you can close the extra tab and let's see if you can see my cursor here. And if I'm typing, can you see me typing?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. I got to find a place to put you. Let's see here. Because every time I click on this, it's gonna mess up. Okay, I think we'll have to do some expansion of the screen.
Yeah, or make Visual Studio Code smaller. Like you can hide the sidebar.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Let's do that and do that. That'll work. Bingo.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Wait. Oh.
Doing nothing. I have to wait. Is he actually leaving the stream now?
I'm back.
Nice.
All right, now I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. That's so cool. That's better.
All right.
Dim the light a bit. I can dim the light a bit. I can dim the light a bit, I think. But the problem is my webcam. Like somehow in Discord and in Google Hangouts or Meets, it's called Meetup, it somehow just corrects it. So it has no use. That's a bit of the problem. I don't know.
I think, you can't probably adjust that in Discord, can you? Like the exposure.
Somehow. No, probably not. I'm not sure. So which one is Frank? Nice one.
It's impossible to tell now until we start actually doing some coding, and then it'll be very obvious.
Well, I don't think so. So let's talk about configuration because that's why I'm here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before we're doing anything, I heard you did like an attempt, right?
I did an attempt. Yes, I did. I had James, one of the guys that is around a lot, volunteered. He said, "Hey, send me a copy of your configuration and automations and a few files." And he split it all up. And then he said, "All right, it looks pretty good." And I put it back on, put it back in, turned it on. It was broken. So I think it was kind of like what you said. You said something yesterday about that. Like if you try and change too many things at once, and then you're going to have a heck of a time trying to sort out where the problem is. And that's exactly what happened. So I haven't gone back to it since then. I just went back to my regular humongous files and haven't gone back to trying again since.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like the general issue which I see. Since I did like a year back or a year and a half back, a video about how you can split your configuration differently and, well, in my opinion, make it more sensible. People start doing that like massively, and they pick up their massive configurations and dig in and try to do what I did. And then they end up with, well, exactly what happened to you. You have like a big configuration that doesn't work because you have changed so many things that you lost control, actually. So what you should do in general, like this is not just for configuration splitting, but anything you do in Home Assistant, is just do one thing at a time and check and continue and build upon it. So in order to do that, I wanted to talk about a couple of basics. Like this is like, we're going to talk about a couple of like really bare YAML basics.
Okay, great.
And the reason for that is because, well, they actually are really important when you split your configuration. The types of variables you need is actually defined by but that defines how you split the config or which functions you will need. So it's important to understand that. So why not, like, I was like, let's dive in, let's do some YAML basics for everybody, like
Love it.
maybe a fresh up course, right?
Or a first course for some of us.
First course for some of us, maybe. Yeah, right. So I prepared a couple of documents. It's a small thing. We're going to run through it, and then we'll see and dive into your configuration and see what's going on, right?
Perfect.
So this is the first page I made, and this is just types, and it's empty. It contains comments. So let's talk about YAML first. And YAML has a couple of types. And types are things like numbers, strings. We all seen that, right? So let's talk about strings. So let's show what a string is. A string is just a piece of text. We all have seen this piece somewhere in the code, right?
Okay.
That's a string. And a string can also be formatted as, which is, let's do it in English, that's probably better. This is the...
It's okay.
These
we
are
understand both. Is that Dutch for hello?
Yeah, the hello, that's Dutch, hello, yeah, sure. So this is like, both are two strings, right? So these are both the same. One is with quotes, one is without quotes, both result in the same thing. This is a basic string. You see a lot of them. We use it for messages and settings and all those things. Integers in YAML are numbers. It's another word for numbers. So integer 1, that's a number. But this, however, is not a number. That's a string.
Okay.
So it's important to know the difference. Like if you quote that, that means if you want to have a string with a number in it, you have to encode it. Simple. But integers has a little gotcha here. For example, this is not what you think. What is this?
Integer.
It is an integer, but what's in there?
Oh. What's in there? The number 14?
No.
Dang it. I don't know. Integer
12.
gotcha. Oh, is this like binary or something? I don't know how
it's octal.
Oh.
As soon as it starts with a 0 in YAML, it will be interpreted as octal. So if you ever work with numbers in YAML and you put a 0 in front of it, you can expect weird behavior. That is good to remember. This is just a gotcha that you have to know.
Okay. I had no idea.
That's okay. If you can scroll up a little, we go down further down now.
Okay.
So let's talk about floats. This is a term you will see in the documentation a lot as well. Floats. Floats is actually a decimal number. So it's basically the same, but it has a dot in it.
So that leading 0 is not going to do the same thing as the other one?
No, because there's a 0 dot.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a float. So these are terms you see in the Home Assistant documentation, right? You see integer as a possible configuration value, or a string, or a float. These are things you see there, so that's important to know. Then there's a thing that's called a null. We've probably seen things like this. Nope, without a secret. So these are like has.io and discovery. These are things that some people end up entering in a config to activate like an integration that has no configuration. These are empty. So nulls are empty. There's no configuration in there, but they're still activated. Officially in YAML, you would have to use a tilde sign, it's called, I think.
Okay, tilde. Well, that's what I was saying. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the same. Those are the same. Well, then we have comments. You see a lot of them. And then there's a little catch here in YAML, and that depends a little bit on the YAML version you're in, and that's Booleans. Booleans are yes and no, true and false. Those are Booleans. So in Booleans, we have things like, this is yes, that's true, and no, that's false. So true and false, that's yes and no. But you could also write another, this is also true, and this is also false. And this is a little bit of a gotcha here, because this will result, no, this will not result in the same thing, but no, yes and no are also accepted. So in general, you see things like with capitalized or fully capitalized, or you will see yes and no. I would highly recommend to just use true and false in lowercase.
Okay.
There's a reason for this, because you can have weird behavior in YAML which you would not expect. For example, let's say you want to set the language of something somewhere to the language Norway, to the country Norway, as I did here below now. This is not a string. This does not contain the NO. This becomes a Boolean, true and false. So if you ever need to type NO as Norway, you have to encode it to make sure it's a string, or else it will become a Boolean.
Mm.
So these are some like weird things about YAML people will run into. If you're in Norway, you probably know already by now. But yeah, this is some weird behavior. So in general, if you have a Boolean, like if you want to say something is yes or no, use the terms true and false in lowercase. That will just like always work. And remember, if you need a string and it contains yes or no, then you have to encode it.
Okay.
The same goes for a string for true and false. So if you want to have a string, a true string, which has the text true, let's say you want to have a message with true to your phone. Yeah, true. You have to encode it or else it will become a Boolean.
Now, so this can be a string because this isn't a word that it recognizes like yes or no, right? There's probably a list of those, yes and no, true and false. Is there others too to be aware of like that?
Yeah, yes, no, true, false. I think those are it,
That's
to be
all?
honest. I'm
Okay.
not sure. Yeah, probably that's it. But those are kind of like weird. Like those have special meaning. And
Right.
especially yes and no can be kind of confusing in YAML. So yeah, does it matter single or double quotes? I see in a question. No, it doesn't matter. I use double quotes in general, but that's just because I want to be consistent everywhere. But it can be single or double. There's no difference.
So questions there too. What about on, off, 1, 0? Do those do the same thing with Boolean as Booleans?
Yeah, they can have the same effect indeed, 1 and
Okay,
0.
so just be
But
careful with
they
those.
will initially be picked up as an integer.
Oh, okay. So it won't work as a Boolean. It'll be an integer. Well, 0.
It will be an integer. 0 will
Okay.
be an integer as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
So now we come to the cream of the crop, the thing we really need to understand to do a split configuration, which is lists and dictionaries.
Okay.
These are really important. If you ever want to split your configuration, you will see these terms in the documentation, and they're really important to know, or else your configuration will fail if you split it. If you do not understand this part, these two, it will fail. Like a Boolean string, that's fine, that's no problem, but lists and dictionaries, working with those is actually the magic on a split config. So a list we will see a lot. Those are mostly shown as like this. This is a list. Hi. Oh, that's out of completion. Let's not. Again, whatever, words. So this is a list with 3 items in it.
Okay.
Lists are usually seen by the minus in front of them, right? You make a list of items.
Oh. Okay.
This is also a list. You can recognize it by the square brackets. It's a list of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the same thing could be done for these are absolutely the same.
Okay.
Basically. So this is a list of integers.
And the smiley face is also a string, right?
The smiley face is a string. Yeah, this is a thing YAML does. It tries to guess the type. So if you want to be explicit, you will encode it.
And that's an array also when you do the dash and then something, would you call that an array?
Yeah, so multiple names for this are here. Sequence, that's the official name, I think, for according to the YAML spec. In Python, we call this a list. And since Home Assistant is Python-based, you will see a list in the documentation. Some call it an array indeed, so that's another name. There are multiple names for out here, but in our documentation, you will generally see a list. That's how it is referred to in Home Assistant. So that's a list. Now we'll see something that's called a dictionary, which is called mapping in YAML. In Home Assistant world, we call it a dict or a dictionary. Or in some languages, it's called an associative. That's a associative array. That's also a term for this. That's the next thing we're going to do. And basically, that is what we have been doing above already. So this is something like, this is a dict. This is a dictionary. Item 1, which has a value. Item 2, which has another value. This is a dictionary. Okay. So this dictionary variable contains a dictionary of items. It maps. It's a mapping. It maps one to the other. It maps keys and values. So that's a dictionary. If you go to the Home Assistant documentation and you will look at integrations, you will see always a list of configuration variables. And they always say, like, this is containing a list, or this will contain a dictionary of a mapping. Sometimes it's called mapping. These are the things that are like really important, because if you have automations will actually use this. Let's pick up a small automation file. I hope it will switch on your end. Does it?
I don't see another file.
Okay, if you go to the live share again, now you should be able to click follow on me, and then it should like follow me throughout the files.
There we go. Now you're on the automation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it should stick with me, and you can close up the live share again after that.
Yeah. And that defining dictionary helps a lot. So thank you, because I've seen that in the documentation. I've seen, oh, it's in the dictionary, or somebody will say, well, something about the dictionary, and I have no idea what that is. Like, dictionary, a book, you go look up the definition of words, right? So
yeah,
understanding now that this is a dictionary, the light goes on.
Okay. No, well, that's good. But if you look at this automation file, and if we look at your automations or anybody's automations file, that's how the configuration starts out, you will see it's actually a list. Every item in every automation is an item in a list. It starts with a dash, right?
Yep.
Okay. But the automation itself in that array is a dictionary. So this is a list of dictionaries.
Okay. I see that.
If that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Now it does.
Okay, if we start doing splitting configuration, like let's say we split it out, like we put each automation in a file and we load up these files, we have to tell Home Assistant like each of these files is an item in a list. And these files contain a dictionary, for example. So that's why the splitting is important, because we have split it like the configuration across files. We load those files up. And it has to be in the right format on the place we inject it, like in the place we include it. The place we're going to use it has to have the format.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Probably not yet, right?
Well, I'm getting it. I can understand where it could be, because I've seen that. Like when you have, try and make a groups.yaml or something separate, I've always gotten goofed up with, does it have a dash? Does it start at the beginning? Does it need the title that says, groups or whatever? So,
yeah,
I totally get that is the cause of problems. I've had them. Okay.
Let's go. I have another one.
Okay.
Long strings. This is a thing I've seen in your files, but in many files. we have a message or a template, and we try to put it all on the one line and make it long and try to figure out how this if-else statement works and how it's shown. And then it becomes so long you cannot read it anymore and you're not sure where you are. And we all have seen this, and we all have, like, I've seen this numerous times. So if we talk about strings, you actually can split strings up into multiple lines, even though it's still one item. You can split it into multiple, so you can see like more clearly what there is. And there are multiple ways of doing this. There's a literal style. That's the top one. As you can see behind here, I will set like what's it called? A pipe sign. I'm not sure how.
Yes, I would call that a pipe.
That's a pipe. Yep. Okay, that's a pipe. So if I set a pipe behind here, then all the indented lines below are the value that I set to literal example in this case. So I can add multiple lines without a problem, but this is the same as the one below here. It is this example, it adds a new line, which is /n, and it adds a new line at the end, which is off screen for you at this point. So you probably should scroll to the right, but that's exactly the point of this all.
Okay, /n. I guess I can do this.
Yeah, /n is an enter.
Okay, so this would be, so put it down in the next paragraph kind of thing, or put it down the next line.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you can see, the literal example, the long, that's really unreadable in your code. In the YAML you do. So make use of that pipe sign. There's another one, and that's folded style. That's below it. It's like a smaller than, bigger than sign. And the thing you put down below, it works exactly the same, but there's one big difference. It will not keep the enters you placed between the lines.
Oh, okay.
So it will put those lines together with a space instead of a new line.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if you have like a long sentence and you do not want to enter a new line in a long, you can use the folded example. You can use this folded sign to make sure they are concatenated with a space between them. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay.
So this is literal and folded multi-line strings. There are some additional examples below here, which is the chomping indicators. The chomping indicators are the minus and the plus sign, which you can add to the pipe or the smaller than sign, the greater than, smaller than sign. And those actually change the behavior of the last piece of the line. If you do not use the minus, just the pipe, it will add a new line at the end. So it will add an enter to the actual value at the end.
Okay.
If you add a minus, it will ensure the white space at the end of the stuff is stripped away. So it will not place a new line at the end of the file.
Okay.
The same goes for a plus. The plus works the other way around. Keep one or more lines at the end. If in this case I placed an additional line on the plus, and that additional line will be like preserved.
Okay.
In general, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so if you put just the pipe, it automatically puts another line at the end, like you hit a return. It'll just add it. If you put a minus, it stops right at the last character. And if you put a plus, then it will take your extra enters that you put and keep them in there.
Yeah. At the end.
It at the end, just the end. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time, like 90% of the time, you probably need, and you will only need to remember these. These will, like, if you do Home Assistant stuff, these will just work. The first one is for if you want to keep the enters, and the last one is like if this is like one line actually, but you split it in multiple.
Okay.
Remember the one with the minus sign and use that. Like that will work in 90% of the cases. In case you have something like this is not working as I expected, look up what it means again, but use the minus in most of the cases. There's a link down there, by the way, to show you why. If you hit Control and hit that link on my GitHub, it will open up a page, and you will see a template or an automation I created for my configuration
Okay.
that uses this
Okay.
down
So
below.
you've got this here. So
Yeah,
that's gonna say it's gonna not actually record these enters. It's gonna continue. It'll be just as if it were a space off, space else, space heat,
yeah,
and then at the end, because you got the minus, it doesn't put an enter or an extra line at the end. It just stops.
yeah. So this is a way to make like get more freely into templating. Like instead of putting this all in one line and try to make a mess of the one big line you have, if you have multiple if else statements in your
Oh
template,
man.
it will become really messy really quick. So using this like these little signs, like this little string tricky, you can just go freely and just use enters and ident and make it more readable for yourself, as this is pretty much readable in my opinion instead of one line.
And then someone says, "Can you add /n to split the lines where you want?" And yes, right, because you did. That was one of your examples back here.
Yeah, you can add a /n in string. Yes, it depends a bit on the end that processes it, how it's like processed and interpreted. Like
Okay.
it depends a bit on the integration. Probably will work in some chat applications and chat integrations. I'm not sure. That's a bit of experimenting, but in general, like the lesson I want to show here is you can just like use multiple lines and strings while it's actually just one string
Mhm.
and make it more readable in the configuration. This does not affect like the outcome at all.
Okay.
It's just a readability thing for yourself,
Okay.
especially with templates, right? Templates can be complex really fast. Adding some enters in there and an extra tab now and then can just make a difference in being able to read it or not. If I
Yeah.
go into the forms, you will see like enormous ones, and this will make it readable.
So Renee is asking a question too. In Bash, you can use the backslash. Can YAML do the same?
YAML can do something similar, yes. There's something like that, but it is a bit of, I think it's a bit of error prone. Like this is, in my opinion, really easy. You place a pipe sign and just type away instead of having to add a slash to each line. And like you have to
Yeah.
make sure if you do that to add a slash to each line and then you have all those slashes there, like
Yeah.
this is way cleaner in my opinion. Just add it and go.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Good tips.
Okay.
And look at this. Troy says we should have a link to this in the official docs. There's probably some explanation, right? If there's some YAML education, I'm sure, in there somewhere. But this is nice. This was a good summary that focuses on the things that matter for specifically for Home Assistant. If you don't use YAML for anything else, but this is useful, super useful.
Well,
Good
this
start.
is just YAML. You can find a lot of like tutorials on this. This is just spec from YAML. This is not even Home Assistant specific, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you ever use YAML somewhere, this is just working everywhere.
Okay. Hopefully, I can hold most of that in my brain for the next little bit.
We'll be good. You'll
Okay.
be good.
Somebody
I'm
said,
sure
Jeff Hammer, a minute back there, he said, I think Frank is going at 2 times speed and the rest of us are at 1/2 speed.
Oh, really? Am I too
No,
fast?
no,
It can
he's
be
just,
true.
I think
I
he's,
worked with YAML for many years, even before Home Assistant already, so I know quite a bit about it. I probably can, like, yeah, I've actually read the spec even for different versions a couple of times. I can tell you the differences between YAML 1.1 and 1.2. That's I'm really like
please don't tell us. I don't think I have need a bigger hat. Okay. All right. Sweet.
I see a lot of people asking about like the three
Yeah.
dashes
What's
above.
that? Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, this is I do this. This is because I'm used to do it. In Home Assistant world, we actually don't do this, but officially, those three dashes on the start of a file, and they can actually be lower in the file as well. Those tell the YAML parser that this is where YAML starts.
Oh,
So I could put in HTML on top, and it will just ignore it until the three dashes show up. And this is actually used in some websites where you can write the website in Markdown but you can put some YAML on top with some configuration. If you have those kinds of websites that actually works, the Home Assistant website actually does that. So that's why it's just in my brains to put in the 3 dashes, and I still do. I never stop doing that.
But if you don't do it, apparently it obviously assumes everything's YAML.
Yes, because of the file extension. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Duh. Okay.
Yeah. Now Frank is showing off. Well, thank you, Lars. No, I think this is like a lot of things in here are things that we do not learn or understand. I'm not even sure this is documented anywhere, to be honest.
And Seamus
I don't
says,
know.
he says, is that the same as putting code in the website with the three, they're not quotes, but those 3 little things we use for,
yeah, that's
like
Markdown
Discord
specifications. The
Okay.
Discord, that's Markdown. That's another language.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a code fence, actually.
Code
That's
fence.
Markdown.
I like
That's
that
not
term.
related to YAML.
Okay. That was good.
Okay. Now we're going to go into Home Assistant. Like we have to YAML.
Okay.
I guess. I hope.
And Matheson says, "Can you? Did you make these? Did you sat down and typed this up? These example files?"
Yeah, you're actually looking at my Home Assistant configuration, and I made an extra subfolder here and typed this in just like an hour ago. Like this
these are already on your GitHub. These are already in your GitHub.
No, this is actually on my computer. I'm sorry. I can publish them somewhere, maybe.
Okay. I saw somebody ask if they'll be able to look at them later or something. So
let's make it available somehow. I don't know. We'll share something on Discord.
Perfect.
Sure.
Sounds good. Okay, here we go. Now the meat. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult to understand, but
that was the easy part, huh?
Yeah, we had the easy part now.
Okay. Woo! All righty, bring it.
This is hard because I wrote a couple of, but I actually failed to come up with an explanation and write something down that makes sense. I tried a bit, but yeah. The first one is quite easy. It's the first. It includes a YAML file, and the contents of that file, the YAML, is placed inside as a value of first.
Okay.
That's acceptable, right?
So everything inside that file.yaml, it would appear as if it were starting with the exclamation point on include.
Yes. Let me show you an example. If you start out with Home Assistant, this will be like the default configuration, sort of. There's more in it. I stripped some out to show some examples, but this is like the basic config. It loads the automations.yaml right here. And this is using the include. So this is the automation integration. Automation is an integration in Home Assistant. And its configuration is, like its value is the contents of automations.yaml. So automations.yaml, this file, this list with the dictionaries in it, is actually the same as doing, like I can do the same thing in here. I did not need to include. This would be the exact same result. That's what the include does. It just loads up that file.
So it, and for me, as far as indentation spacing things, because I've messed up, this, when it starts here at the exclamation point, that's already going down. I mean, as far as YAML, as far as Home Assistant trying to read this, it's already doing a return and doing a space in, right? Or 2.
Yeah, it already handles that. It just picks up that content and will just...
So when you make your automations.yaml file, you just start with a list, with the first item in your list, with a dash right at the top left corner, first box, and you go from there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be indented. And by default, indented here, there's no indentation here, right?
Right. No indentation there.
Nope.
Okay. And putting an indentation there would throw everything off, right? You'd be off too far.
No, it actually will work.
Okay.
That's a different story. But there's no need to do an indentation here. You
See,
start
now I
from
thought it
one.
was important to have it or to not have it or have the right number of them. It doesn't. It just
It is
straight line.
important to make indentations that indicates if something belongs to this list. For example, this
Right.
trigger here, if I pull down this trigger
Now
is now
it's
part of this list, but it's not a list item. So this is a list item and this is a dictionary. And the YAML parser, I'm not sure if you have it in Visual Studio, will probably go nuts now with all kinds of warnings.
because you started a list, but there's nothing.
There's no next item in the list. There's something else.
Yeah.
A list should be a list always. It's mixed up.
There's a new dictionary instead
Yeah.
of being part of the list. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me clean up a bit. I will save the files. Include. So that's the include. Include is the most simple form. Picked up the contents of the file specified, put it in as a value to this thing I have here, to this key. This is called a key. First is a key. Now it's becoming like a bit difficult. We're going to talk about the include functions. The more like extensive include functions, the dir list and the merge list. And what these functions do, the dir list and the dir merge list, those directory merge and those functions, those two, actually will always result in a list. So it's important if you have something like automations, and you want to include it from somewhere, like a folder which has like multiple files in this, and this will all become more clear if we continue on this. But if you want to include like a directory of automations from the automations folder, which has multiple files, automation expects a list, as we have seen. If you go to the Home Assistant documentation and you will go to the automation integration, it will actually tell you it expects a list. So we need one of the list functions.
Okay.
Because automation expects a list.
So what you've got there, the way you have that with this slash automation. So automation, I'm guessing, is a directory. Is that right? And then in that directory, you would have garageopener.yaml and bathroomdoorlock.yaml. And each of those things would, as far as Home Assistant's reading it would concerned, would be an item in the list. So you could have each separate automation as its own file.
Yep.
And so when you want to do a new automation,
the dash.
Right, no dash, just straight from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Indeed. So each file will be picked up as an item in the list.
Okay. So you don't add a dash. The dash will be added by the parser.
Yeah, it will be added by this function, this dir list function. We'll add a dash to each file. So we'll pick up each file, and each file's contents becomes an item in a list.
Okay. So if I were to do that, and leave the dash, it would cause a problem. If I were to take cut my automation,
a list on the list.
Yeah, you can't triple stamp a double stamp. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the dir list, and it works recursively. So you can go in and make directories in automation, even subfolders, and it will pick them all up. It will just go through them all, picks up each file it can find, and it will put them in the list.
Okay.
Right?
Include dir list. Gotcha.
Okay. This is another one. This is almost the same. This is include dir merge list. There's a subtle difference. It expects to be the files that it's including in the directory that you specify, in this case third, that the files that it includes contains the list itself.
Okay. So you would keep the dashes.
You would keep the dashes, and it will get all those files and picks up all those lists in the files and put them together in one big list.
Okay. So
if you would apply this to automations, it is basically the same, except you can have multiple automations in one file. So this would allow you to create a file, for example, we'll call livingroom.yaml in the automations folder, and put all your living room automation file.
Okay. Or say you're doing, sorry. So you're doing a list of like switches in the configuration, If you did
For
merge list,
example,
you could say living room switches.yaml, and in there you would say dash and then the switch dash the next switch dash the next switch. Then you have a different file that is bedroom switches.yaml, and in there you would have dash switch dash switch dash switch.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the first example, like this include their list, and will force you to have just one item in each file. So this will create a shit ton of files. And this is probably one of the most common thing about my configuration, because I prefer this. I prefer to have one item in each file. But if you do not, you could also use this one and have multiple things and categorize things. So this will allow you to, like, these two functions will allow you to, like, define how you will store lists. So you have to think about it. What works for me? How would I like store things? Some people hate it to have like one automation in each file because, well, we have 300 automations and then I need 300 files and that sucks. Okay, well, I think it's good. But if you don't, you can use this one. And
to me, it just kind of, just the way I was just thinking about it would be nice in my mind. Something like automations where, I want each automation maybe to be its own file. But for something like a switch or lights or binary sensors or sensors or something, maybe I want all the sensors from a certain room to be in one file and sensors from a different room in a different file. Then I would use the merge instead of the dir list.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's neat. And this is one of the most, this is what the most people do wrong. Like the merge and the dir are two like really different ones because, well, one expects no list in the files and the other one does.
Got it.
In the end, they both make a list. So the results of both of these functions is a list.
Okay.
In the end, right?
Got it. Great.
So the next two are kind of similar, but like same, not same.
Makes total sense.
Right? Yeah, make total sense. They are called named. Don't ask me why they're called named. I'm not sure who called them named. I'm not sure who named them even. But it's the same, but it gives back a dictionary.
Okay.
So this is important why we should know the difference between a dictionary and a list. Because if something expects a dictionary, for example, groups or zones, those are dictionaries. If I pick up a group, let me open groups here. This is an example group. This is not a list.
Yeah.
It's a dictionary. So if I would split group, I would not use the list functions. I would use the named functions, which result in a dictionary.
Okay.
They are basically doing the same. There's one big difference. There's a dir name. And dir named does basically the same as the dir list, the second example. It takes each file and expect the contents of each file to be part of the contents of a dictionary. However, it picks up the file name as the key for the dictionary.
Oh, okay. The file name is the key. You don't put the name, you don't put the key at the top of the file. The file name is the key.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we go to groups, I will create a file called bedroom, like is shown here, and I will put name entities in it.
Okay.
And I will create a file hallway.yaml and put these in it.
Okay.
However, if you want to do the same as we did with list, like if you want to combine multiple as per area, you can use the dir merged named.
Oh.
In that case, it will merge the contents of the files it finds, into one big dictionary.
So say that again. So that one.
So the functions without merge.
Okay.
They actually like think they have every single file is an item in the list or dictionary. The contents is an item in the list or dictionary. When using merged, it will assume the files contain a list or a dictionary already, we'll pick up the contents of all these files and smash them together in one big list or dictionary.
Okay. So that's when it's merged. It will put it in one big list. How does that? So when it's merged named now, it takes it'll take the name of the file and it will make that. No, it won't.
In case of merge, it won't take the name of the, because the names is already in the.
Okay. So in that case, so with just dir named, it uses the name of the file as the key, but in merge named, you still need to put the key
in the
for
content.
each. Okay.
Which allows you to put multiple items in one file. In case of dir named, you cannot do that. In case of merge named, you can do that. It's basically the same as with automation. Like one automation in each file versus multiple automations in one file. With dir named, it's like one group in each file versus multiple groups in one file.
Okay.
I know this is kind of difficult. We're going to see it.
Let's see some examples. Yeah, that's right. I think that one needs an example. Somebody says, it can tell by the look on your face that you didn't take your ADD meds before the stream. No, I'm focused. I am so focused right now, like a laser beam. Okay.
Well, I think it's important to talk about this. I kind of expected this would like not land, and this is probably the reason why most people like do not get it right. But we have to go through them, and we have to talk about them, and later we will probably say, okay.
It's so much better to do it this way, Frank. No, this is exactly right. It's so much better to do it this way so that we have an understanding of what these things mean. Now we can see how we apply those when we're trying to organize, 2,000 lines of YAML or whatever. And I think this will save a lot of people a lot of trouble, and probably will fix some problems that people have had by trying to do it themselves. So,
yeah. No. Gary's actually asking, could you type out a... Yes, we can. I will do. I have a really minimal, which I kind of showed a bit already, Home Assistant configuration here, and we're going to split it up like in a couple of seconds. That's not like there's almost nothing in there, so we're going to split those.
Okay.
But before we do, I got one little secret trick.
Oh boy.
And I probably will be killed for telling this because I think it's not documented even, and I think it's not supported, but I use it, and I think it's really important if you're going to move towards a splitter configuration to use this. The secret trick that is in Home Assistant is the configuration listed in the code multiple times. Why this is important, it allows you to include automation integration with your old automations.yaml file, which you already have. You already have this in your config right now, right?
Uh-huh.
You have this line. But if I would replace this with the new one to a folder, your current automations would not be loaded. So you have to migrate all at once, and that hurts and is error prone. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
As we've seen.
Right. So if we add a space after an integration and then a random word, doesn't matter what, it will load automations twice, and it will load them both.
So to do this, you basically would say this would leave the automations file that I already have as is. And then this second line, for some secret unknown reason, would also load it would load everything in the automations folder.
Yeah.
So
this will load both.
Oh. Okay, so
if you start splitting your configuration, what you actually can do is add in that additional line to your configuration. Pick up one automation out of your automation to jump, put it on its new location, check your configuration, restart, and everything works. Pick up the next automation.
Oh man, so you don't have to say, okay, I need 4 hours today because I got to split out these 50 automations. I gotta get comfy in my chair. No, you put this, and then you just say, okay, well, even if you don't change any of your old ones, you just say from now on, when I make a new one, it's going to be its own file, and it goes in the automations folder, and it will
Yeah.
be loaded as well.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Or maybe even like, I don't know, you want another one. Fine, you can even do like I have a test folder with test automations. This will work.
Okay.
So there's another really important thing for this. I've heard a lot of people telling me like, okay, I've split my configuration, and I think I saw it coming by in the chat a couple of times already. I've split it, and now I cannot use the automation. That
Oh,
sucks.
did you guys wait? Did you cut out for a second? Did anybody else hear Frank cut out, or was that just on my
Okay,
end?
did I cut out? Okay, let me try again. So I saw it in the chat a couple of times now.
Mm-hmm.
I've split my configuration, and now I cannot use the editor UI anymore for automation. So I cannot go into the UI and create automations.
Uh-huh.
This is because the automation editor in the UI will always write to automations.yaml.
Uh-huh. I see where
So
you're
if I
going.
go, yeah. So what my tip would be is leave your automations.yaml, this include, as is.
Yeah.
And even though it's empty or not used, if you leave it there, it will just work. And if you go to the automation editor and it will write in here, it will work.
But if you want to manually do something, put your second line there and take your manual automations that you do and you put them in
Yeah.
your other folder.
Yeah.
And then comments will stay. You probably don't need the ID, you know, the random numbers ID thing.
Well, there's a trick to that. We'll probably talk about it later. Maybe there's a trick, especially in the latest home system. There's a trick with the ID, which makes some really nice UI features. But yeah, basically yes.
I've
Like
noticed
everything that's, if you are outside of the automations Java can manage, your comments will stay. So if you add something to the automation editor via the UI, it will write in the automations.yaml, comments will be lost, but it will not touch files you put somewhere else.
Right. So it won't take your comments.
Correct.
And I've noticed, I think it was just a day or two ago, when I was trying to do something I think it was in the entities tab, because you had said going to entities was a lot faster than going to the developer tools to look at your entities, right? So I go to my entities there, but I couldn't change them. I couldn't go and change the friendly name or anything. And it said you need a unique ID. So I'm wondering, so then if you had a unique ID, if you just go ID and then you put some random stuff in there, then it would let you do it in the UI.
Yeah, you can even change the icon now from the UI and the name and the name of the entity.
Okay.
So that's kind of nice and neat.
Awesome. Is there a way that to take like a list of existing entities and quickly give them IDs? Or do you have to just kind of manually go in? Okay, so you have to manually go in and add an ID line to each one. Okay, well, that's as long as you know that's what you got to do. It's not that big a deal.
Well, if you're going to split up, you have to move them. So maybe just
if you split them up, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Maybe. Okay.
Sweet. If you're there.
Okay.
So this is the 101 course. We did some YAML, did some multi-line strings. We over the includes, even though it's pretty hard to understand yet. And we had this little secret trick. So this is like the basic of YAML and all the include stuff. There isn't much more to tell about this.
Okay. Let me see what somebody's pinging here. Oh, right. Okay. So now, we've had our 101 class. We understand some things that are going to be good, useful tips and tricks. And now it's time to
do something.
Time to get the knife out, right? It's time to start chopping. Chopping.
Can you open the file tree on the side?
Yeah, and somebody else did say too, your audio, I don't know why it is, but this just in the last few minutes it cut out a few times. But
I don't have any audio processing, so
it's probably because it's probably too many things streaming at the same time or whatever, and it's just taking a little chop here and there. So
we're on the other side of the ocean, right?
Yeah, All right. Let's see. Okay, so what do we need to do now? Open up a configuration?
Open up the file tree? No, can you open up
the file tree over here?
Yes.
Yes.
So people can see, like, I have a mini configuration here. That's called a folder called starter config.
Okay.
If you can open that in the example folder, that is,
Yep.
so you can, and there's a starter config. If you can open that one up, you can see a configuration.java file, a groups and automation.
It's Discord. It's okay. Somebody's saying the sound is with Discord. It was happening with Quindor the other night. Okay. Oh well.
Okay.
All right. I'll tell you if you cut out and we miss anything that we can't fill in, we'll ask you to repeat. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. Basic configuration example. All right.
Let's do automate. I have an automation file here.
Okay.
Let's split those.
Split the automations. Okay.
Yeah. Create a folder called automations. There's nothing in here. And let's create automation1.yaml. And let's pick up the first automation of my automations file. I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to remove it from here. And I'm going to add it in here. I'm going to remove the list.
So now if I go here, there's that. Okay.
So now we have my old automations file, which still has 2 automations. And I got a new one in place, which, well,
it's right there.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we have to make this work. So if I go into configuration.java, the old one is still in here, right? But we need to load up the new one. It expects a list, and I want to include everything at automations.
Now, so it doesn't look like in some of your other examples, you had a slash before automations or before the folder name. And I even saw one time you had a slash before and then automations and then / after. Do those matter? Can you just put the folder name there and it will find it as long as it's downstream, or how does that work?
In this case, it will look for its current directory, the automation folder.
Okay.
It will be the same as this / is the current directory and an automation folder. Okay. If you need to go up a directory, which can happen, let's say the automation folder is in the examples folder, right in the starters folder, then I would need .. which goes one folder up and then the automation folder. But it's always relative to the file you're editing.
Okay.
And if you need to go up 2 directories, well, then you just repeat that.
Okay. Let's keep it simple.
I generally type like this to make it more explicit for myself, but yeah.
Okay.
Right now, for this configuration, we've split it 1 automation. 1 automation is now living in the automations folder, which is loaded in here. It picks up the contents of this directory, and each file becomes an item in the list.
Okay.
There's no list in here.
No list.
And we still have the old automations file running. This will be a working configuration right at this point. We can check it, we can run it. Easy step.
Okay.
For groups, let's say we want to do the merge example, right? Let's do the merge example. Let's say we'll make a folder called groups. And for groups, we decide we want to create a file per area.
Okay.
Let's say we create a file called inside the house.
Okay.
So let's pick up these 2 groups.
How do you make you're doing some kind of keystroke to make these new files really easy.
No.
You're not?
You do not see my mouse.
No, I don't see your mouse. Well, no, I don't think so.
This thing is actually wrong.
I see your cursor when you type, but I don't see a mouse over here on the file. But do you just hit this new file button?
No, I just right-click on a folder and create a new. No, I just right-click on a folder. I want to create a file in. You can try, by the way, because you have editing rights, so you can edit my configuration here.
So there you go, new file, and then you put the name of it. Okay. Great. Little key tip. Okay, so now you've made a new file called inside. Now groups is expecting dictionary, not list.
Correct.
Okay.
So let's say we make a file called inside, and I want to do multiple in a file instead of one, as we did with automations. Then we need to merge stuff. Remember?
Yes.
Okay.
We need the merge. Because if you don't do merge, then it will think it's all one. It's all inside one dictionary.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There we have it. So we now split the inside, and we have the group, which still contains some old ones. Yeah, that should basically do it. So we now partially migrated it.
Okay. And again, this part here, just so I'm clear, the reason we do merge and not just dir named is because if you just do dir named, it will take everything that's in every file that's in groups, and it will make it part of one. It'll make it part of one dictionary.
It will become. It will add a group called inside because the file, and we'll place the contents of that file inside that group, which makes no sense because it contains multiple groups, so that doesn't fit.
Okay. Okay.
This is really a hard part.
That's okay.
I understand.
That's okay. But it's as long as we know now that when you're doing groups, what other, so you said groups and zones, right? What are there other integrations, I guess is the right term. Are there other integrations that are looking for dictionary instead of a list?
A dictionary with a list. Yeah, most have a list. Some have dictionaries. It depends. You have to look. There's no way to tell up front unless you know how it works. So let me see if I can find a great example I can share with you. Well, zone is actually, well, this is one example. I paste the link right here. You can click it with control and then open it, and you can see it instead of like file sharing in Discord.
Okay, so zone is a list. Zone is looking for a list. Okay.
Yeah, and now I'm going to mute for a small second. Hold on.
Okay.
Somebody's really hard trying to call me.
Okay, you do that. We'll be here. All right, I'll read chat for a second because I haven't been able to. And since we've had a lot of people join, we'll do some fun things like this. Do that again where your hand goes through the screen. Like that. All right, you still cannot edit the automation 1 YAML in the UI. So I know for sure, Nigel, if you add what I did was, if you add IDs to each of your automations, then you can edit them in the UI. You just have to kind of randomly go in and put ID and then a bunch of stuff, and then it is available in the UI to be edited if you want. But once you edit something in the UI, once you go in and do an edit in the UI, it's going to take away all your comments and it might rearrange things. Not in the automations editor. Hurry, let's split your config while he's gone. So Nigel, you have ID and you still can't. Oh, maybe something has changed then. Maybe something has changed. So is there something different, Frank, besides adding the ID number that you would need to do in order to edit your configuration or edit your automations in the automations UI?
Let me pick up one of my automations here.
Can you increase Frank's output volume? Yes, I can. There you go. UI only edits automations.yaml. So is that the problem, Nigel? Because if you've split it into separate files, then it won't. The automations editor is only going to edit automations.yaml, nothing else.
Yeah, you can't edit the automations.
Oh yeah. Yep. Nope. Once you split it out. Yep. Once you split it out into separate files, then the automations editor won't work for those others. It will only work for whatever you've got in automations.yaml.
Correct. Which is kind of okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. In the second, so you don't need to in the second, and you don't need to put ID numbers on the automations that you separate out into separate files. It won't do you any good, correct?
Well, yes, no. It's not used for editing, but it's used for some other stuff.
Oh, Secret stuff.
but secret stuff.
Future stuff. Oh, hi everybody! Say hi. Is she gonna come with the lipstick?
Say hi.
Hi. Hi. We've never met.
He's also wearing a stupid hat.
Yeah. Thank you, hon. Love you too.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the ninja. The
One in
ninja.
Holland and both a stupid hat.
Oh, that was the best. Oh man. Oh man.
Oh man.
Okay.
She loves the stuff we do, by the way, in general. But okay.
No, she's great for putting up with you, I'm sure. That's too funny. That was too funny. Okay, so let's.
Can you see my follow me again? By the way, on live share.
Follow you again. So do I? Okay, I see. I need to go.
You clicked around, so you unfollowed me. So if you do
okay.
the live share and follow me, you will see one of my automations.
Okay, here we go.
Which I've
Sorry, thank you. Question for Frank, a bit off topic, but at the same time, you just touched the subject. I have to rename all the files in the terminal because the file list refreshes all the time.
That's a Visual Studio Code thing. Exclude the files that you do not need, or like hide those, because the file tree will not refresh if the files that are changing are not there. So Visual Studio Code actually tries to hook up with each file, monitor if something changed, and if something changed in one file, it will reload the tree. So what happens if you have a database visible, for example, and Home Assistant writes to it like every second? It will refresh the tree while you're trying to rename. So things like a database, you should hide, if that makes sense. The default configuration of the Visual Studio Code add-on is actually pretty decent with that, but yeah, it can happen. I have an echo.
Heard about a unique ID generate function. Have you?
Yeah, I use some feature in Linux itself that can give you a UUID, which is what it's called. But there are, if you go to Google and type in UUID generator, you will get one, and it will, every time you refresh the page, it will probably give you a unique ID, and then you can paste it in. That's how I do it. Like I pick some UUID generator and I just do something random. You can type it yourself as well, as long as it's unique. So that's why I use a UUID generator.
Somebody says, so Ash VJ subscribed and says, can you do the unicorn Bitmoji screen? Do you mean this one?
Right?
Somebody was asking for the unicorns, so I'm throwing some unicorns.
Oh.
I don't have Thomas the Dank train.
Streaming too late.
Oh. Recently added a value to do polls. Okay. All right. Okay, so were you going to show us something here?
No, this is it. This is my config. Okay. In general, like you have to think about how it should work for you, but yeah.
Okay, I think I like this to start with at least. Let's go to my configuration.yaml and put in those includes for extra folders, so that I can start putting stuff in extra folders.
What we can do now is if you open up a new Visual Studio Code, an additional one, you can use this one as reference. So I can open up these. You can open up the example files. Maybe I'm not sure if that's useful, but you can open up a second instance, Visual Studio Code, maybe new window, and open up your configuration and make sure there's no secrets open.
Probably secrets is going to be the first file that's open.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought I had and somebody asked, how do you hide them? And you hide them with, what is that file called? Not ignore, that won't do it. So when somebody says, how do you hide them? How do you hide them from?
If you go to Visual Studio, go to the settings, and you search for hide space files, it actually will show you. It will give you a configuration option in which you can include a list of things to hide. In case of the sharing, which we do now, there's a special configuration file which I shared with you. Have you placed it in your folder?
Have I?
Have you placed that special file in the folder that I sent you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So if you click on live share now, it will generate a link for you. Put it in like it, and that link should not be shared, by the way. It should not be public. But if you paste me that link, I can open up my Visual Studio Code just like you did with mine, so I can see what you do. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think. Starting collaboration session.
Yeah, and it will copy a link in the paste buffer in your clipboard. And if you paste that to me on Discord that would be awesome. Then I can join into you. Can you place the difference in templating in the pipe symbol, pipe and the greater than symbol? Yeah, the difference, Martin, is keeping new lines versus not keeping new lines.
So I pasted what was in my clipboard. So hopefully that is what.
That looks good.
Okay, hopefully that's not yours.
No,
okay,
it's
now
not.
I'm trying to get this shrunk down. Scroll up here so it doesn't show up. Okay.
So this will load up your configuration without the secrets if you place that file.
I did.
I'm joining. It's loading.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking
That's
at insanely big. Holy moly, man.
Let's go down there. So let's see. How do I get rid of this? Can I just click this? You're still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
so let's go to the bottom here and just see where we're starting.
You can click
2,579. Huh?
Yeah, I see it. And some comments.
Everybody? Yes. So that was
wow.
Whee!
At this point, I'm not even sure if I want to 3D print.
That's it. I can't talk to you anymore, Z's. I'm sorry. You like my hat? Dawson's enjoying my hat. Look at we're matching.
Oh. Well, that's something different than a ninja.
Yeah. See, I got a little. Well, I don't know. He can't say, "Hey, that's a stupid hat" to me. He knows that. So but he gave me that. Dad, what's that stupid hat look? That's what he gave me. He's like, huh? Dad, what's that stupid hat? Okay. So here we go. I think let's figure out what makes sense here to bust out. Let's do the automations first, and we'll add, because I like the idea of setting up new automations in separate files. Okay.
You know what I would start with, by the way?
What's that?
Integrations.
Okay.
Like
to be honest, so make a list of just the integrations.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Because that's the base. Like in general, if we start loading up anything, it will be integrations. That's the starting point, right? If you go to your config, the first line of your configuration, if you scroll all to Jesus,
it's gonna take it's gonna take a couple minutes to get to the top. Okay, hold on. It's like an elevator.
Yeah, there we go.
Home assistant.
So one of the things I see here, which is perfectly nice to do because it's small, is probably weather. It's just dark sky here.
Mm-hmm.
It's an integration. It has a list. It has a configured item.
Okay.
Let's split that. Let's get that one out first.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I would say make a folder in your config called integrations.
How do I get back to that? There we go. That's what I want. So now I want to make a new folder here, right?
Yeah. Create a folder.
So I can just do this called integrations.
I think it's Control B or Windows key B. I'm not sure what it is, but Control B is, I think, toggling the file tree. Let's call it integrations. Is it my screen or is Frank half? No, I'm half. I'm just half here.
Oh, okay. Now he's fully here again. Okay. So we've got an integrations folder, and then we need a file in there.
Yeah, let's make a file because this is the weather integration.
Okay.
So let's create a file weather.yaml.
Why does it only let me do halfway, and then I did that on the last one too.
Yeah, this is what people talk about in general.
What is happening?
Well, there's a database file in here that's changing constantly. Yeah, you're not typing in the 3, filtering it.
It does.
So
again, like maybe
so
it's
a way around is delete that file or rename it.
Okay.
Yeah, that will work.
Okay.
Just delete it.
Delete the file.
Yeah, just unless you fixed it already. If you fixed it. So what you can do to avoid this is just create a new file with I think it's Control-N in Windows.
Okay.
And then save it, and then it will show you a dialog, and that will work.
Control N. There's a new file. Okay. So let's just delete this weather. So here's a new file. Where did it put that file?
Nowhere. You need to save it.
Oh.
So if you hit Control-S, it will give you
Okay.
question, if I'm correct.
And now I can call it. This is probably not the fast way to do this.
No.
Okay. Okay, but now we have integrations in the integrations folder, and we have weather.yaml. Okay, we're there. Okay. Integrations should be lowercase, somebody says.
Is this uppercase?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have made it uppercase.
What is that?
Probably
Does
want
that,
to
does that mess it up? That'll do mess up something?
No, it doesn't mess up, but in general,
Uh-oh.
because
Well, you just cut out. Sorry, you just cut out for a few seconds. Say
just keep everything lowercase in file names or directory names.
okay.
You can have some issues like Windows is not file sensitive, case sensitive, but Linux is, which is running Home Assistant.
Okay.
So you can run into some weird stuff, especially if you run Git. If you do stuff in Git and GitHub, keep it lowercase.
Okay.
It's just safer.
Okay. All right. So now we can go back to configuration. We can take this out, right?
No, you need to leave weather. Well, pick up weather. Please pick up weather. Take it out. Yeah, you need to pick up weather. Yeah, put it in weather.yaml and then correctly spell it. Will help, I think. No, it's correctly spelled. Yeah, it's spelled correctly.
Let's see. So I don't want this to say weather though anymore, right? Because this is going to be picked up. We're going to make a.
No, this is
we're not going to make a list.
This is fine. This is fine.
Okay.
So we need to adjust your main config to be able to pick up this stuff.
Right.
I'm picking up. I'm now adopting my own config. Hold on. What did I do with weather? This just is so weird. You know, I did this once and never thought about it again. Yeah, I put weather inside here. The reason why I do this is because well, I don't know actually. Good question. I have weather inside there.
You do. You have weather in here.
Yeah.
So what did you include? So what line did you use for your integration? So you have to have an include something directory integrations. And
yeah,
since I mean, is it a dictionary of it looks like it's a dictionary of integrations.
So if you open up the other window of Visual Studio, it will show you my configuration.yaml file.
That's it.
This is my main config. Yeah.
You got 5 times as many comments as you do actual lines.
I got 2 lines actually.
Okay.
So that packages, that's the key. You can copy that line. Just put it in your config.
So what do I already have packages in here though? I think I do.
You do?
Yeah. Because I actually already had that line, except for it goes to a packages folder.
What's in there? That makes it like
Stuff for the stuff for the HA switch plate.
Oh boy. Let me check. Oh, that makes it complicated in your case.
Yeah. I mean, why we could do the same thing and just instead of the folder being packages, can we just move all this into the integrations folder? Probably
Yeah,
not.
in theory you can. What you could do probably is in the integrations folder, create a folder called HA switch plate or something, and move all that stuff in there.
Okay. In here.
Just include the weather.yaml. That's not a point, Martin.
Okay. So I moved those in there. Oh, I didn't move them. I left them where they were. Here it's still in this packages folder.
So where's your packages? Your packages already include their names, so that's cool. So things will automatically start to work. So you can remove that extra line you add, which you copied from my configuration. Only change, if I may be so free.
Yes.
That should do the trick.
So I must not be following you again. Is it, so if I take over. Okay. Guess I wasn't following you. I wasn't watching what file you opened again.
Oh, I'm sorry. So in the configuration, you had this one. This was packages.
Uh-huh.
You moved
Okay.
the
You just changed
plate packages.
Uh-huh.
Integrations.
Okay.
Oh, what happened? Something changed. Did I do that? I got some formatting on. Let's not do that. Let's not touch your files. Let's do it yourself. Okay. I got some auto formatting on, so some things are formatted now.
What causes me to unfollow?
By doing an action yourself.
Oh. Put your hands up.
So,
don't touch anything. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So if I edit something, then I have to make sure to give you back control again.
I have control. If you want it or not. I just can't access your secrets. That you
Otherwise, I'm at your mercy. Okay.
Yeah. So what you basically have now, the packages are loaded from the integrations folder. So basically the splitting config makes use of the thing called packages. And you have a weather.yaml now in the integrations folder. And you have placed the switch plates there. I thought you moved them. Did you move them? Yeah, you did. Okay. My file tree was out of sync. So this, if you go into weather, you have duplicated dark sky somehow.
Well, platform is dark sky, and then API key is dark sky.
Yeah, so
that's just a secret. My API key, that's just my secret dark sky, right?
okay. Somehow I got out of sync, so I'm syncing back. Hold on. Follow you. So basically, this should be it. This should already work. So if you check your configuration, everything should be fine. Let's do that before we go anywhere else.
Okay.
So why is the secret gone now?
Right?
It's not on my end. I think something is lagging. Okay.
I'm not
I will go
surprised.
to watch on YouTube.
It's the dang ocean.
It's
Getting
the
in the
dang
way.
ocean.
All right.
And now everything will explode because this is like the most difficult, especially because you already had packages. I didn't know that.
Beautiful. Bingo. Pass. We did it. It's the
Okay.
dank ocean.
It's the dank ocean.
Configuration.yaml isn't saved. Let's see.
It's automatically saved if you unfocus from Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code will save as soon as you
Oh, as soon as you minimize it, it saves.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Well, that's the default configuration unless you change it. That's my config.
Yep. It says here 2 unsaved.
Oh, then it doesn't. Is that a Windows thing maybe? I don't know.
Could be. Well, it's looks like it's saved.
How will you update your HA switch plate now it's moved? I don't know. How is it updated in general? I have no clue.
I don't know. How will I update the HA switch plate now it's moved? I don't know. I think I could just go into those files and update them.
Yeah.
It will,
sure.
But I should just be able to go in there and change that. We'll have to see. You guys know that your cap isn't helping. You don't like these hats? These aren't, we're just going to move them down like this. And now it's a N95 face mask. Okay. It's updated by script. Oh, well, I haven't updated in forever, so that might be a problem.
Okay, well, you can move it back to packages. That's no problem.
So this is a key, correct? We're talking about packages. That's a key.
Mm-hmm.
Your line, when you have in your configuration. Oh no, that's correct. Okay, it's just in the same place. Okay.
Yeah.
So
just has
what
a
if
bunch
this? What if instead of the folders called integrations, what if we made this folder packages and we just put?
Yeah, works. Just do it.
Let's just do that. And this will fix the problem Nigel's talking about, I'm sure. So if we say that's packages, and then we just put, well, I didn't even move them actually. They're still there. So I'll just go here and get rid of these. In fact, but then we just have to move weather into that other one.
Packages folder, yeah.
Into packages.
But you can also make a subfolder there if you want. But
call it integrations.
Yeah, it works with subfolders. But this is like your own personal preference, right? This is like now you know how to include things and where to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's do some of the other integrations, because I think your plan, and I liked it where we started here, was we've got this integrations folder, and it's got weather in it. So we're gonna take a lot of these things. Why do I have so many YAML? What the heck?
Well, you tried, that's for sure. Oh, you deleted some more.
What?
You deleted something that was not commented.
Really?
Yeah. You might do. Okay, that's probably me being out of sync. Okay, never mind.
Maybe. Okay. So now we've got some things like, I don't really like something like default config. I don't really care, but I could do calendar with Todoist.
Yeah,
Right.
for example, or now we have the basics going, we could dive into the automations. The reason why I picked something else is because, well, let's start simple, right?
Okay. Okay. Let's dive into the automations.
I'm not sure if I'm out of sync, but your calendar looks weird. There was a column behind calendar. I do not see it. On your end, it is. Wow. Okay. Never mind. I see on stream it's okay. I see on my editor it's not okay. So that's kind of weird. Okay. Never mind.
Okay. Deleted this file. That's fine. Why? I think there's something about sharing here that's making the saving kind of funky.
Yeah, it could be. Our connection is funky.
Yeah, like every time, like I save it and it says, oh, it's unsaved, but we haven't changed anything. It just must be because, oh gosh, now look at this. Todoist keeps coming back. Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to disconnect.
Okay.
So how do I do that?
So somebody asks, doing this in your config YAMLs would not make Home Assistant would not make it more complicated and slow Home Assistant. The idea is it wouldn't slow it, but the idea is to make it easier to edit and easier to add and easier to find things.
Yeah.
And
well, what Home Assistant does just loads up all the files, and it's just a couple of milliseconds. Really, it's nothing.
And then I was going to say, what about reloading? You know, so when I go to, because I use packages, I can't use this reload automations button. Is that still?
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
How come? Let's try it. I'm just going to try it because recently it's been telling me it won't do it. Of course, now, it'll say yes, no problem. Crossing the streams. Yeah, we crossed the streams. We paid for it.
It'll actually work because that's how I do it. Like if I change some automation, like I still restart Home Assistant a lot, but that's just because it's in my brain somehow, because that's how we did it like in the old days. So I still hit the restart button, but it's not needed.
It said failed. It said failed to reload, but does it say that just because is it like a disconnected thing? Is that why it says it?
I don't know, or maybe something is wrong. Be sure to run your check config again after the issue. I'm now disconnected. Let's make sure there's no corrupted file in there or something.
Okay, the configuration still looks like it's working.
Okay, great.
And I wonder if it's still, I still have yours open here. I think that's,
mine can be open. That's a different session. That's not an issue.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's open up automations.
Yeah. So what you need to do is find your automation like include thingy somewhere in config. It should be there, right?
Yeah.
I cannot see you live anymore, so that's something you have to.
Here, let's try this. Let's do this, and then I might be able to. This will definitely bog down the internet. Okay, now you should have my screen.
Oh, in Discord. Where's my Discord?
Yeah,
forgot about Discord.
Best thing I did is get rid of the need for a database. Ooh, how'd you do that, Tommy? Check developer tools logs. Yeah, let's look and see what might have been causing that error and see if there was something in the developer tools logs.
The weather.
Wi-Fi, monitored conditions, allergies. So there's some stuff there. Okay.
Duplicate
duplicate calendar. Yeah. Let's go back in there.
But that should not break it.
Several.
This is a reason to split, by the way, what you're doing right now.
I only have one calendar. I think that might have been previously when I saved it. Okay, anyways, let's go look at the automations include. So there's my automations include.
Yeah, we need to pick up this line.
We need, what's that?
Well, let's make an automations.yaml integrations and add those 2 lines in there.
Oh, and make an automations.yaml. Say that again.
Yeah, make an automation.yaml in your folder you just created, where weather is
Okay.
now, and
Okay.
put these 2 lines in there.
Another file called automations.yaml or automations something else?
Yeah. Inside the integrations folder we just created, next to weather.
Okay. Okay. So it's in packages and integrations. And we're going to make a new text document.
Automation. It's singular.
Okay.
.yaml.
Okay.
Let's pick this one up. And let's put these 2 lines you had in here. Here we go.
Okay. And now this is going to have to be include. And then let me see if I can remember. So it's the, oops, I hit the microphone. It's going to be the dir.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I can't remember now if it's merged or not merged. Probably.
The question is, do you want multiple automations in a single file?
I think I want each automation in its own file. So then I would do just list.
Yeah.
No, list. Oh.
Yeah, that's correct, because you're not merging it.
Okay. So, and I closed your examples. Include, is it merge?
Underscore.
Oh, there you go. But not merge. I don't want merge.
Correct. You want
I want
list.
this.
And then the first include has to go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now the interesting part, like both lines, the first line is broken now as well. Because we're in like a subfolder, right? We have to break out of this. So we have to go up 2 folders. If you look at your breadcrumb,
right here.
Yeah, your automation YAML is there. Then you have integrations, and then you have packages, and then the config folder is there. So that's 1, 2. That's two folders you want to get rid of: integrations and packages.
Okay.
So you need 2. You need to go up 2 times. Point slash.
Okay. And then I would be the name of the folder that I'm going to put these in.
Yeah, no space in there.
No space.
Yeah, and you have to fix the automations.yaml as well, because
this is also in a. It's also up
2 folders relative to this file in this location.
Okay, so what we've done is we made in here. Well, actually, I don't need this anymore.
Correct.
So now, oh my gosh, take the elevator back to the surface. Okay, so because this is including packages, and we made a folder, or we made this automations file, now we need to go up here and make a folder for automations.
Yeah, there you go. Automations is called in this case because it contains multiple.
Okay. So now anything that's in this folder is going to be part of
an automation.
Part of my automations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every single file in there is loaded as an item in the automation list.
Okay. And let's see. So it doesn't matter. This automation, this is only just basically, oh, that's because it's this.
Yeah. So it's just like the file name is just there for your own goodness. That's it.
Okay. still thinks somewhere there's a file that's not saved, but let's go back here. I don't know what file it thinks is not saved. Anyways. Okay, let's check it.
It should still pass.
There we go. Okay. Pretty sure you have some extra tabs in your automations. Yeah, let's see. But that shouldn't make a problem.
No, there's no tab in here, right? Oh, there's a tab. Yeah, you can move it if you want. Shift tab. Select them all. Control A or what is it in Windows, and then Shift tab. No, there isn't a. That's
No, there's
just
not.
the theme you're using.
Yeah,
It almost looks like there's a tab, but there isn't.
yeah. No tab.
That's fine.
Okay. It passed.
It passed. That's good.
Okay. Now, let's go
Let's go to your automations folder
and take something out.
Well,
So if I,
what you can do now in the automations, if I can share you my link to my config,
okay.
Just for illustration. Watch out to not open Visual Studio or the thing in the share link.
Okay.
This is my GitHub. This is my automations folder.
Okay.
What I do, I create subfolders. So some are empty, but if you go into areas, for example, yeah, I do not publish everything.
Okay.
I've made subfolders for each area I have in my home and put automations in those folders. So I like group my automations that way. Some people use other methods, but yeah, that's how I do it. Because if you have 300, create 300 files in one folder, which is just as big as a mess as doing it like
I see.
In a single file, right? So use folders. You can use them. It doesn't matter.
So I can put in this automations, I could say like a new folder that is garage.
Yeah.
And then I can put all my automations that have to do with garage in there. So I go back here to this one. This is for Janice's garage door. So if I cut this out and then I go back, I'm going to go here and I'm going to make a new folder. And not a new folder, sorry. No, a new file. Just a new text document. And we'll call it okay. And I go in here and I paste this, but I don't want that dash anymore, correct?
Okay. Correct.
So I can do this, and then I can take all this, and I can control bracket and move it back over there, and save that, and go back
still pass
to Home Assistant and check it. And that's the process, just over and over again, right? Just chop out a little, put it in the right place, save everything, go to configuration, check it. If you pass, keep moving.
Yeah, and what you did with automations right now, like in general, just pick up the automation integration and load them up. You can do this with every single step and integration you have defined in your configuration project. And if you continue that process, you will end up with something like I have with 2 lines. If you want to. It's just how far you want to go, right? If you decide to just do the automations this way, that's fine. If you decide to do just the sensors this way, that's fine as well. You can make whatever you want. If you want to have a folder inside your automations called upstairs, downstairs, and do areas in those subfolders again, go ahead. That you can like structure it like the way you prefer and your mind works. And
you cut out that last sentence, but you're basically just saying you can do it however you want. You can organize your folders and your files however you want, as long as, I think the thing to go back to the very beginning when you were teaching us our YAML basics is make sure that you're following the right format for lists and dictionaries. Because if you mess that up, then something's not going to work. But if we do mess that up, like let's mess it up, right? That's how I like to learn. So let's go here and let's pretend. Let's do this, and put this back the way it was. So if I would have copied this and not fixed it,
Yeah, you have the space on the first line.
oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So now this, it will probably give me an error. Let's see. Because now we've got like a double dash.
Yeah, you have a list in a list. It expects an automation, but it's not there. So
And if
loads
it doesn't,
correctly-
it may, oh, there it goes. Boom. We blew it up. Okay.
Well, we know it's working now already. So that's good.
Yeah. And then now we're going to fix it. And then someone said to reload and test it and see if it's working. I don't know. I guess I can do that. Yeah. I can do it. I'll just trigger the automation. It'll open up the garage door.
Yeah, the reload probably might work in this case, but we have not restarted home. So it didn't, the changes we made to the main configuration are probably not picked up yet.
Okay. So let's restart Home Assistant.
Yep.
Okay.
And your automation should still exist, right?
Yeah. The automation should still be there. That'll be the test. So
Yeah.
we took that one fob automation out of the automations.yaml, put it down in our file folder structure as its own file. It passes the config, but let's make sure that it is actually loading it as an automation. I love it. This is making
From that
sense.
point on, it's now you can just continue on doing what you're doing now, right?
Right. And
Like,
I hope
in
you don't
general,
go ahead.
well, you shouldn't. What one should not do in general, and that's a Home Assistant thing in general as well. Don't sit down for 4 or 5 hours trying to go through it. Like you can,
Yeah.
but like do something every day. Do
Yeah.
something every day. Improve your system every day. If you do like 15 minutes a day, you will like spend an enormous time on a year, and you will end with something like humongous and totally awesome.
So you're not gonna stay awake with me for the next 4 hours while I do this one at a time?
That's fine by me. I got some energy drink, so
Is that an energy drink? That looks like a brewski.
yeah. No, it's an energy drink,
Mm.
and a strong one.
A strong one too, huh?
And I
I
miss
just
my
did
music,
all
by
this.
the way.
Yeah.
So I need something else.
All right, let's see. Somebody has an off-topic burning question. Do you have any idea when it will be possible to cast a still image from my Real-Link camera image to a Google Nest Hub? Well, that's a question. Yeah, Frank. What do you know? It says, any idea when we'll be able to cast a still image, like from a Real-Link camera image URL, to a Google Nest Hub?
I think you can. There's a camera. This is a weird hack though. I think there's a still image camera in Home Assistant. Weather map. Add them as a camera to Home Assistant. Let me look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure there is.
Continue
So
on
that would-
Frank's stream music.
Camera. Yeah, and I think no, I'm not even sure at this point. I thought you could.
Somebody else says, any news about Apple TV integration? When will release the new update for TV OS 13? It looks like Home Assistant has reloaded. Thank
I don't
you.
know.
Thank you, Jordan. Oh, no. When this goes away,
Have you restarted?
I thought so.
Okay.
Let's. I thought I could restart.
I didn't pay attention if you did or not.
Let's go back here and look. Let's look at the logs for a second.
I actually missed the chat. I'm so sorry, guys. Normally I watch it. It's not like I did not have a feeling like streaming.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, this is weird, actually. It's kind of cool, though. But
It should be okay. Let's see. Well, let's look and see. Now, I should find this in entities. Let's look and see if it's there, but it's possible that it didn't. It's possible that it didn't restart. Automation. There's the automation right there.
You can now change the icon in here, and you can see related. It's not showing any related devices, but that's you can change the icon. MDI colon garage, I think. Door. Not sure. Yeah, there it is. Update.
That's awesome.
Here you go. And this works because you have an ID.
Okay.
So without the ID, you would not have naming and stuff thingies there.
I'm going to restart it again. Oh, you know what? It did restart, and you know how I know? I know because let's see if my music starts. I moved the magic cube. Okay, it doesn't look like it started. But I've got my air conditioning thermostats. I haven't made an automation for this, so I have to manually turn them off at this time because otherwise sometimes it gets warm enough upstairs here where the air conditioning has turned on. And so I just have to turn it off at the thermostat in Lovelace. And I know that I turned it off earlier and it was back on again. So it had restarted. So it did work, but now we'll have to do it again. We'll have to wait again.
If you're like me, you're always, when you're not behind you should fix that. Yeah, I should add that. Oh, yeah. I need to do this. This light is not part of the group. Oh, I should automate this. And as soon as you sit down and start working on it, it's gone.
Yes, exactly. Oh, thank you for not making me the only one. Every time I can lay in bed, at night and not sleep and think about all the things that I'm going to fix. Oh, yes, I can do this and that would work and I can do that. Okay, great. That'll work. And then wake up in the morning, come up here, sit down. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I was going to check YouTube. I was gonna check my email for the 50th time. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Recognizable problem.
Okay, so now it's back up. And again, just to prove one more time. Developer tools. Oh no, we're back here. I'm getting used to this new page.
Yeah, you should. It's so much faster.
There it is. So it's still here.
And the icon's still there.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. And I could execute it from here and make sure it still works. Ready? We can go back here. We can actually see if the garage door is going to open. Give it just a second because it starts down and goes up.
Don't you have a camera on it?
Oh, there it is. It's open. I do have a camera in the garage. Yeah, we could watch that too. Okay, sweet. And then go back here.
So now you have the basic, right? This is what it is.
Okay.
You now have a trick to have both active at the same time, your old stuff and your new stuff.
Right.
And you can start like organizing it and do your thing. And this is what it is.
This is
now
awesome.
From this point, it's just like a lot of freaking work to like split your almost, I don't know how many thousand lines.
So now the goal is, I don't want to sit down and do it for 4 hours. So I'm going to do it like you say and do a little bit at a time. So what we need to do is just, let's have like a check. And every day, yes, we'll do it. I will commit every day to at least take one little thing and move it out.
Don't.
Okay.
Don't. You will. This will hunt you down.
Okay, maybe every week, take one little thing and move it out once a week. So we can we'll have to watch maybe I should make a sensor. Oh. Can I make a sensor that says how many lines are in my YAML file and in my configuration? And every time I delete something and it goes down,
I'm not sure, but you should not add the sensor to this.
Don't add the sensor to this.
It will make matters worse, right?
Yeah, I'm sure I've got a few people here in chat that will keep me honest. And every stream, like Sam here, every stream will make sure we do it or they'll yell at me. Special part of each stream. Fantastic. Okay, so we got the basics. We did some good stuff. I can take it from here. Let's spend a few more minutes on chat questions. So if you guys have questions, we got Frank here. He's a genius. What questions do you have? We'll spend a few minutes doing just regular live stream kind of chat questions before we sign off.
Sounds good.
Thank you, my friend. By the way, I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So much. And we should figure out a way to put the examples we made somewhere. I will
Okay.
take care of that.
Okay. And I'll, I will go back and look at this stream and chop it up too and keep it, we'll try and pare it down to something, in the half-hour range or something people can digest.
Ron, I can ask how to split Lovelace. Well, it's actually exactly the same.
Well, Ron, are you using so you're going in and manually editing Lovelace.yaml? Because otherwise, man, everything should just be. If you haven't yet, boy, the UI is so nice now. There's not much you can't do. It's pretty nice. You were busy before, but could Frank do something like this in Dutch too? For example, with Quindor at Camp Zone.
Well, I could do the Dutch. I've been asked to, maybe once, but I'm not going to do it.
So Circo says ESP home errors pop 42 times a day. Anything we could do with that? What errors? What are you having? I don't know. I probably have some. I mean, if you look at my logs, I probably have some ESP home errors.
Oh, we can look into that. Oh, Quindor is here. Hey,
there you go. You're committed.
No, I did not. We can talk about it for sure. I'm not even sure. Is Campzone like doing things, Andres? I'm not sure. Like IoT stuff. I'm sure that's the audience though.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to do a Dutch stream soon? No, I'm not going to do streams. I'm even uncomfortable with my own language at times.
Oh wow. I'm still part of your Dutch Discord server.
That's kind of cool.
I can go in every once in a while and say hello. Hello. Okay, somebody said, the camera thingy. DIY doorbell project Frank, and want a still image from my Reolink camera viewed on my Nest Hub. That's not something I played with. Do you have a Nest Hub? I have one, and I haven't tried to get it to display. I have it casting, a specific Lovelace view. Like I have it. That's what this is. This is what is being displayed on my one here at my desk, the Google Hub. But
I've played with casting my camera. That's kind of cool, though. You could create an automation that if somebody rings the bell, you recognize a movement that you put the camera stream to the Nest Hub. So if I have it on my desk right in front of me, so as soon as I would do that and somebody would ring the bell, I could instantly see it on my desk who's at the front door.
I wonder about the delay. I mean, it would be cool to try it and see how it would work. I would wonder about the delay. And for some things, I mean, I guess if you're using the Reolink and you're not using any of their cloud services, then that's fine. But sometimes some of those things that they, from the manufacturer, their apps and their integration directly with something like Google Home or the Echo Show, sometimes that's going to be your fastest way and maybe your easiest way to get it done. I agree with you. I like to try and run everything I can through Home Assistant, but sometimes it's easier just to use their the manufacturer's app.
Sure.
And then he says, do you have code somewhere for that camera thing to get the camera to pop up? You said you hadn't done it, right?
Well, it's just a service. It's a stream or media.play stream. It's just a service which accepts a camera entity and like a destination, a source and destination. It's a service call. It's 3 lines.
So Ron says, what is the status of folding at home? And I can tell you what the status of folding at home is, because
You're actually folding
last night. Yes, I've been folding. Let's see let's see how we're doing here. Folding at home.
Well, if oh, there we go.
Okay.
Well, you're not folding right now.
I don't know why. While I'm working, it started doing it last night, and I just changed, and I didn't change anything.
Yeah, you could change your name if you change identity. You can give yourself a name like DrZzs.
That's a good name. I'll use that.
Yeah. Okay. It's just a wild idea.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to stick with that.
So now you will get points earned, and you will show up in a team statistic.
So
If you
what
click
about
on the
what about this?
Sorry?
Maybe this is what I'm doing. My computer has unknown time to complete this work unit. Only when I'm idle. Like, I don't know.
while
Is that
working is fine. That's usually for desktop settings.
Okay. Oh, you
But
cut out there.
isn't it desktop?
Okay. And
That's
then
for desktop.
okay. And so the power part, light, medium, full, does that have to do with like for a laptop, saving battery or something?
No, how many CPUs it will use?
Okay.
Like how many cores?
It says it's ready. Do I have to keep
Yeah.
this open for it to work?
Nope.
Shouldn't.
No. The problem is it's just because of Corona.
Oh.
This became popular so much. They have now more than twice calculating capacity compared to the world's biggest supercomputer.
Oh
Just
my
because
gosh.
everybody jumped in
Oh wow.
and they ran out of work. So they're slowly adding work now for people to
Oh,
calculate
okay.
on, but they're out of work.
And that's what Derpy is saying. So it says no work units available for the configuration all the time.
Yeah.
And Sir Goodenough, to join the team, you just do the add-on. You just go to Has.io, the add-on store, and you can just search for folding. And there's an integration, and I don't think you had to do anything, right? I don't think I did. There's no setup, is there? No, there's no configuration. There's nothing. You just do it.
There's nothing.
Yeah, you just do it.
We'll just do it.
Just start it up, and it'll, I'm pretty sure I saw it doing a little bit of work last night, so I got to contribute a very little bit because this
Could be,
this
but
started.
you cannot see the history because you did it anonymous. So the points earned is now 0. Before it didn't show it. So
Okay.
now the points will actually raise up as soon as it's done something.
Once they've
But
got some
most
work
of the
for me
time,
to do.
yeah, right now it's just like too many people. Like,
So if you do it through the integration, you'll automatically join Home Assistant's team.
yeah, and you can change
Cool.
the team if you want. Under change identity, you can change the.
Oh, and then Rutger says that's the team number 247478. Yeah, that's the Home Assistant team number. Fantastic. Not out of work myself, Jordan. I'm kind of out of work. All right.
Yeah.
How do you do the sensor, Wiz? Which sensor, buddy? We ran out of capacity to distribute work. Is that your team number so we can contribute to your points? This is the Home Assistant team number. So yes, this is the Home Assistant team number. So we'll all be contributing together towards, looks like we're trying to get to 10 million points. Is that what that says?
Well, we have 10 million points.
Oh, I contributed 0 to the team's total of 10 million points. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Hey, homies, Frank's voice drops out sometimes for a second. Yeah, sorry, Sim, I know. It's the ocean.
Yeah,
Thanks.
on this side, you drop out as well.
Yeah, it's the ocean. Okay, years ago, I set my computer up for Dutch power cows folding at home, I think.
Yeah.
Will there be folding sensor showing your points in Home Assistant? Can it do that?
Yeah, why not? But I'm not going to build it. So somebody. No, I'm not going to do that.
So anything's possible. And yes, Riff, let us know when you got that done. Sorry.
Exactly.
Oh, I get that all the time.
This is kind of my personal grind. I just
cut
have
out.
to say no.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff I can do, but I have to say no to so many things, even for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
installed and activated. And hello. All right. Clement's got folding going. Will it fold at GPU also?
nope.
Just the CPU. Well, I don't think
I
mean, this is on, if you're doing it on Home Assistant, you're probably not running something that has a GPU anyways, are you?
Yeah.
Most likely.
It will try, but it probably will fail.
Okay. Anyone here that could tell me if there is a huge difference if I would upgrade a Pi 4 running Has.io to an Intel NUC or other x86 platform CPU? Yeah, there's a difference for sure. Yeah. I mean, you'll probably see a performance just in, reloading and some of those things too. But by getting off the Pi, to me, the biggest deal is the SD card. You're not relying on the potential for an SD card to fail on you. That's the biggest reason. That's why I switched from a Pi to the Nook.
Like the Pi, for real, it's a great device to start on. But like, I'm pretty sure most people will eventually just migrate away from it. Like,
Yeah.
if you start out with Home Assistant and information, it's a nice, cheap way to get something going, right, and to get some experience. And then you will be caught by the hobby and
Yep. So you should
down
totally
the rabbit hole.
Yep, you should totally upgrade if you've been using a Pi for a while and you're happy with Home Assistant. You know you're into it, and you're ready to keep expanding. Yes, then upgrade, do it. And you know, I don't know a good recommendation for something bigger. It would be nice because I'm using Blue Iris now. Blue Iris has been great, but I did like Motion Eye a lot. And the reason I didn't keep using Motion Eye was because it was using so much of my CPU. From on the Nook even. So if you had something powerful enough that would run, if you're going to upgrade to something and you want to use Motion Eye, go as big as you can on processor power.
Yeah. I have now like a beast and I love that thing to death. It's amazing. I run Proxmox nowadays. I love it.
Dell Power Edge, somebody says.
Yeah, that's possible. But there are so many things. Like if a little bit more than a Raspberry Pi, and you want to get rid of those SD cards, there are some alternatives there, like the Odroid N2. That's a good one. Like it's a bit more powerful. It's about the same price range, a little bit more expensive, but it runs on eMMC. It's just more reliable. It's quicker. It sets you back about $120 or something, and it's more powerful. That's a good alternative.
Yeah, that's probably a nice middle road because you're not going to get a Nook or other sort of small form PC for less than maybe $300 or something, and that is probably going to be pretty low if you're trying to get something really good.
Yeah.
So let's see. Somebody said TP modding, which did you get my message, buddy? I sent you a Discord message. I hope you got it about the Hyperion. I got my other this thing, and it's still the same wrong chip. It's a different one, but it's the same wrong chip. Anyways, his question is it possible to start on an RPi and export everything to an x86 system? Yes, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. You can. It's as simple as going in here, making your let's see, it's here. Making a snapshot, a full snapshot, saving that snapshot, downloading it to whatever computer you're viewing Home Assistant on, so your laptop, your PC, whatever, and then you start up your new machine. You start up a new Home Assistant instance. You install Home Assistant, you get it up, and then you go to snapshots and let's see, you have to do Samba, and then you have to put the snapshots in the snapshots folder. Correct? You go here and you put it in somewhere in here.
Well, not this folder. You haven't mounted it.
What's that?
You're now connected to Samba to the config folder.
Oh, it's above this. It's up here.
Yeah, there it is. Backup.
Backups. So this is where you put your backups.
Yeah.
So once you drop a backup in here, yep, you drop the downloaded file in this backups folder, and then it will show up here, and you can click it and you can say restore, and it will put everything back on that you had on your Pi before, and should work. Shouldn't have any problems. Should just go right from there. Should. By the way, did you add the LXC to your Proxmox backup? I did not. No, not yet. I don't think. Not supported for folding at home. There's no binary for these. Let's see. Why is there no upload snapshot button? There is. You have to. You have to click the snapshot. Is that what you mean?
There's no way to upload like a snapshot you had down before by the web. That's true. It's open. So if somebody wants to contribute,
somebody who knows how to do that, make that happen.
Yeah, please make that happen.
That would be great right here, right? So you just upload and then you grab it from wherever you are, and it would drop it in that backups folder.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would save you, because otherwise you have to do Samba and get that connection made before you can do that.
Yeah.
Node-RED media flow. Oh, I haven't looked at that yet, Jordan. I mean, I looked at it, but maybe at some point. So, all righty. Well, any other burning questions? I'm going to throw this cube and see if it works. See if we can get the kids to come up for sign off.
Let's do that.
It may work.
What
Put
do you
the
think
file
about
in there.
Kubernetes? Kubernetes is awesome, Kai.
What is that?
Not sure.
What is Kubernetes?
Well, it's a containerization system. Kubernetes, Q8, whatever. Yeah. Sign off as a Dutch programmer. Oh man, now I'm interested.
So the cube didn't work, but my button worked. So I got to figure out where my cube's going wrong.
Here, Thomas is saying, I give up. Can't get the automations to load.
No.
It's the hard part to get like that piece going. And once you
Yeah,
have that, it's
Because me and Chloe and Holly, my week.
This time it's for real.
It's gonna.
Yeah, once you get it, like what Frank, you were just saying, once you get it to the point here where it's working, there's nothing in there, it's just some water. Once you get it to the point that you've got the format, then it's just repeating it. But getting it
Close
that
here
first
again.
time is just a little
Close
trial
here
and
again.
error and poking around and seeing what you got wrong. Okay,
Close here.
so are we gonna?
Close
We don't know how to speak Dutch. I don't
No,
even know how to
let's
do
do
a
something
Dutch
else.
accent.
something else.
Okay, how do you want to sign off today?
As always. Ask Chloe.
Chloe, how do you want to sign off today?
Australian?
Australian.
Australian? How do you do that? I don't even know how to do that. Let's sign
As
off like,
always, thanks for watching.
okay, let's just sound like,
No.
let's just sound like we've had,
Olaf. Olaf.
sign off like Olaf?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we can sign off like Olaf.
All
All right, we're going to sign up like, because that's, I guess, as close as we get
I
to
don't know.
Dutch.
I'm just going to say
Yeah, okay. Frank said choo-choo homies. And here we go, girls. Ready? So we got to sign off pretending like we are Olaf, okay? As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, adios. Like that?
Water has memories.
I like warm
I
hugs.
love warm.
Okay. All right, everybody. Frank, thanks again, man. So appreciate
problem.
everything and good chatting with you, good being with you. And everybody, have a good one. We'll see you.
don't break your configuration.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. All right. We'll see you. See you tomorrow.